Quilters, I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert.
Welcome to today's trunk show called Bob Surpasses 50. Do you know exactly how many black on board dies we have, Erica?
Well, Bobs are over 50, and when you're over 50, you just don't get more specific than that, Pam.
Fair enough. All right. In honor of over 50 Bob dies now available to our quilters, we're celebrating by showcasing some exciting Bob projects.
That's right, we are. Today we'll be joined by go-getter Lori Miller to hear about how to use EQ8 to fully utilize each Bob die for even more fun while you're quilting.
Do you not love her?
I do.
She's brilliant.
She is.
All right, I can't wait to hear from her. All right, shall we get this trunk show started?
All right, let's do. We've got a lot planned for today.
We do.
We have great prizes. Wait till you see. Exciting project ideas. A thrilling trunk show that is huge, by the way.
Huge, huge.
And special offers.
Now, quilters, as you know, AccuQuilt is all about innovation. We love bringing new, innovative products to ease the stress of the physical aspect of quilting, as well as making quilting better and more enjoyable.
Absolutely. And we appreciate how much our quilters love our products, especially our Bobs. Now, today we have a special treat. It's a history lesson all about Bob.
Because we can do history, we just can't do math.
That's right.
That's right. So block on board dies are a proprietary idea that actually began as a playful nickname within the AccuQuilt product development team. There we go. Their phrase, block on board die, described dies like Log Cabin and Ohio Star that had all the shapes that our quilters needed on a single die board to make a finished block.
That's right. Now, once they discovered that Bob was more than just a great nickname, AccuQuilt patented the name block on board to easily remember these types of dies. Technically, the very first Bob AccuQuilt launch was the Go Hunter Star.
I knew that.
6-inch finished die back in August of 2014. I like to say post Pam and Erica because we were here for that.
We were.
Or during our reign, as they say.
Yeah, gosh, post sounds like we don't work here anymore.
During our reign, after we joined the team. But like Pam mentioned, there were already some dies that fell into that category.
Now, like our show title states, today we have over 50 Bob dies.
That's right.
Bobs are actually the most popular category on the AccuQuilt website because the concept of Bobs appeals to quilters of any skill level. It saves them time from finding all the shapes, right, on different die boards to create the block or to cut them by hand. Plus, some Bob shapes don't come on any other die.
That's right.
They're only found on a Bob die.
That's right. Now with Bobs, quilters can quickly and comfortably go from being a beginner to an intermediate quilter with ease. Bobs help quilters create a variety of blocks and projects that they might never have cut without them, and I resemble that comment.
Oh my, yes.
Like cutting and quilting curves, or sewing curves, angles, or narrow shapes into blocks.
There were blocks that I refused to make until we had a die for that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, because of our Bobs, we see tons of quilters produce Drunkard's Path and double wedding ring quilts, since we have Bob dies, making sewing them so much faster and easier.
That's right.
So cut it 90% faster, and then you can sew it so much easier.
That's right. Not only that, but using a Bob die means that quilters never have to do any math.
Never.
Complicated rotary cutting or dangerous rotary cutting.
Yes.
Or need rulers to make precise cuts because the dies make those perfect cuts for you every single time.
And having built-in specialized dog ears, which is also an AccuQuilt innovation,
Yes.
quarter-inch seam allowance and screen-printed letters on the die board makes organizing, piecing, and quilting the shapes even easier. It's just
right.
so fast.
Now, Bob dies now come with two-tone foam, screen printed with the letters, all the shapes you need to cut no more than 6 layers of fabric for one finished block in a single pass through a Go fabric cutter. This is an immense help to busy quilters.
It really is. So, Erica, for instance, to make an 18-inch finished carpenter's wheel block, you need, listen to this number, quilters, 96 pieces.
That's right.
But with the carpenter's wheel Bob die, you can cut out all the shapes in just one pass through the cutter. So I don't know, 37 seconds.
And it goes so fast.
Yeah.
It makes it so easy to sew together too. And cutting out all of bob die shapes is a breeze with the fabric cutters.
It is.
Now, we want all quilters to readily access and use bob dies, which is why over 20 of our bobs fit in the Go Me.
Right, which is almost half.
92% of our bobs will fit in the Go.
So if you have a Go fabric cutter with a handle,
92%. And if you have the Go Big Electric,
Right here.
100% of our bob dies will fit in that cutter.
I just love it. All right, now along the lines of accessibility, we also get asked, how do you decide on which bobs to come out with?
Yes.
Well, the answer is simple. We have an amazing product development team that looks at popular traditional quilting blocks and creates bobs to allow any quilter to make them. So really, we look at those. There's some things that happen. It's not just happenstance.
Right.
Though sometimes I do just beg product development for something, and eventually it comes out.
Yes, we'll talk about
Yeah.
my begging a little later.
Yeah.
But these bobs can be found as permanent dies or die to try dies, which quilters can then vote on to join our permanent die collection. And I think our current die to try,
Oh man.
Go Mill and Stars, I bet it's going to join because it's almost sold out.
It is
already.
almost sold out. We're going to talk about it here in a minute. It's
love
part of. All right, so we also use suggestions from quilters. So last week on AccuQuilt Live, the lovely Erica filled in for me, and the question of the day was, which quilt block would you like to see made into a die? So before we ask the question of the day, quilters, are there any more blocks or shapes
Oh, great,
that
yes.
you would like to see made into a die? Let us know in the comments section wherever you stream our show.
Oh, great.
Summer Santa wanted a teapot.
Yes,
Yeah.
I recall that.
Yes, there was quite a discussion
There
about
was
Summer
quite the
Santa.
discussion about Summer Santa's
Yes.
request, yes. Well, that was a great lesson on bobs.
So fun.
No quiz to follow.
Yes. All right. Now, Erica, since we shared all the information with you, quilters, we also want to share today's special offer.
Good idea.
To get your order in, open a new tab, type in the word AccuQuilt.com/party. It'll take you directly to the site, and you won't miss a minute of our show.
Now, today, with any order to the contiguous U.S., you're going to get free shipping if you use the code AUGFS.
Which is short for August free shipping.
There you go.
There we go. We also have the Go Block on Board Favorites 8-inch die bundle. It comes with the Go Mill and Stars, which is our die to try. We have so few of those left, quilters.
don't
It's going to sell
dilly-dally.
out. Yep. The 8-inch Hattie's Choice die.
Love it.
6x12 cutting mat. Amazing, you can make an 8-inch block from a 6x12 die.
I know.
The 8-inch finished weather vane and the maple leaf die. 6x24 cutting mat, and they're beautiful. So before we talk, and then talk about the dies.
And all the dies in that bundle will fit in every single Go cutter as
Yeah,
well.
it will. Okay, so before we get started about that, let's show you Mill and Stars. So this is the block that Erica made last week. This is a traditional Mill and Stars. It comes usually 4 colors, right?
Right. This one I
And-
just did 3.
She just did 3, and she used reproduction fabric, and I love it. Now, over the weekend, when I came back, I took and made scraps. So here's the Mill and Star block, the corners, and then I sewed 4 of them together. So it creates kind of that mill in the middle, right? So it's kind of the negative space, whereas in Erica's, the negative space is solid, and mine is scrappy.
So many options,
So many scraps.
ways to work with
And
this.
when you go to make this block, I posted it yesterday on my AccuQuilt Educator Pam Heller Facebook page. Here's the tip. This piece right here, these sides are directional when you cut them out of fabric that is printed. When it's here and it's solid, it doesn't matter. You want half your pieces facing up and half your
Half the
pieces
pieces-
facing
yep.
down, because then you're going to get that side.
Yes,
Which is
indeed.
curved. So if you missed Wednesday's show, be sure and check it out. Erica did a great job talking about it and
Thank you,
demoing
ma'am.
it. It was great. So Mill and Stars is going to sell out. Get it today.
Yes. Now, you can also find many of our products at your local AccuQuilt retailer. To find the retailer closest to you, go to the top of our website for the store locator. And if you don't have an AccuQuilt retailer near you, what should they do?
They should let their local quilt shop know that they would love to see our AccuQuilt Go products here.
Absolutely.
I was at our retailer near us, Celtic Quilter, just yesterday. I know you'll find this hard to believe, buying grunge.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Well, let's kick off this celebration of Bob by looking at some of our most popular geometric block on board dies, starting with...
We have work to do.
Focus, Pam.
I know, focus. I was thinking about grunge.
It's the Go Pineapple die. Nothing distracts us like fabric and dies, of course. So this is certainly a block that I would not make, or that I did not make until we had a die.
Yep.
So let's take a look here.
All right, so the Miss Lovely Erica has cut all of her fabric. So here is the pineapple block.
Yes.
And it's so easy to make. Look how good our points came together because we have those notches. So you can cut a 2-color block, which is what we're gonna do today. Or look at this, scrappiness.
Scrappiness is really fun
And
too.
the scrappiness is actually probably one of my favorite versions of it, because sometimes I just think, oh, I have all these scraps, what should I do?
This is what I'd call a modified scrappy. So we've got blues and greens on one side, we've got the pinks and oranges over here, and then we've got a constant within the white. So for some of you that can't quite go all the way over the top with scrappiness, something like I did with the Mill and Stars or like this is a really, it's a gradual scrappy.
It is a gradual scrappy. All right, so let's talk about this die. So it's divided by sections of color.
Yes.
So red and white and red for this one. We have specialized dog ears. Now, look, Erica, there's an E and an F for white, and there's an E and an F for the red.
So don't be confused.
Don't be confused, because they are the exact same shape, but you need to cut them out of white and red.
Okay.
Okay. So shall we lay out our, follow the pattern to cut out your fabric. We can cut always 6 layers.
Some of the basics, these dies are going to follow the basic direction of laying out your fabric like all of our other dies. Your lengthwise or tight grain or your selvage is going to run parallel to these lengthwise blades as it goes through your cutter.
And you want to make sure, because this is on a 6x24 die board, use a 6x24 mat. Okay.
Otherwise, you could have a little shimmy shimmy going on.
It's going to shimmy. Oh, sorry.
It does help to turn it on.
It does, and not shove the die in, because it gets
Oh,
mad
that
when you do
confuses
that.
it. Yes. Okay, so let's get the red and white one out because we want to lay some out here.
We're going to lay some pieces out. And I think that this is such a great block, even if you've never thought about, you know, because normally it's paper pieced, right?
Right.
And so now it's like,
To get all those points, you don't have to do that.
There's a die for that. Give it some love. Slide, don't lift. Now, Erica, we'll talk about ways to keep track of your pieces, but for the moment, we're just going to leave it on the die board.
Right, which is a great way actually to keep track of your pieces, especially when you're doing your first or your test block.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna. This one is gonna. We're gonna do backward.
Oh, I did it backwards.
It's okay, because we have a backwards version of it as well.
Okay.
Okay, so here is shape A. So Erica, the 4 that go around it, what shape do you think they're
I'm
gonna
going
be?
to guess they're B.
They are. So we're gonna build it here with B. Now look, it cut it perfectly. So you're gonna lay your piece down here. You're gonna sew from here to here.
Yep.
It's gonna be perfect, okay?
So you're going to want to do opposite sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Opposite sides, press, opposite sides, press.
Yes, yes. So when you chain piece it, you're gonna go like this and press it away, press it away.
I would do like maybe 2 or 3 blocks at a time.
I did 2 at a time, and
2 at a time, because otherwise I might scramble my pieces.
okay. So now we have white. So Erica, what shape do you think is next?
I'm going to guess C would go next.
Right here. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna do opposite sides. Now, some of you are already panicked, but there's a seam allowance involved in there.
Right. Don't panic.
Okay. Don't panic.
Don't panic.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then see, look how those points are going to come together. And let's do one more, Erica.
Okay, then I'm going to guess it's D.
Yes. Okay. And we're just going to build. So this is how you would actually just sew your block. Now, this is important. When you get to this point, it's going to stop right here, right? Because now your points are going to be flat.
Yes.
So it looks like a pineapple.
Yes.
I do love pineapple.
I do too.
I did an AQ Live once where we made it look like pineapple upside down cake.
And I was hungry for pineapple upside down cake for weeks.
All right, and then you would just continue. So look, we're going to lay one of the E's because I want you to see this.
Okay.
See, this is how it goes.
Right.
Okay, so we make videos all the time on how to use these
Yes.
dies. Now, because I am who I am, I keep track of my pieces with sticky notes.
Well, there you go. That's high tech for you.
It is, because I like to do 2 blocks at a time, so
Right.
you would have to cut 8, kind of things. So what I did for E and F was I did an E white and an F white, E red, F red.
That's right.
Sticky notes, high tech.
Sticky notes. All right. So our other high tech, we had some pressing tips. You want to press to the
Yes.
outside when you're
Yes.
building this as you
Yes.
go. And just keep going.
Just keep going, it's so fun.
That's right. So when we talk about popular bob dies, we can't forget one of our quilters' most favorite dies, the Go Log Cabin, 12-inch finished square. It's by Leslie Main. And here we go with an alternative layout.
When you look at this in your quilting head, you think how does this work? Well, there's a blade here,
Yes,
and there's a blade here, and here, and here, and here.
that's right. So
Okay.
you always want to follow your directions. That's really important.
Right.
And your lengthwise grain is important
Very much
because
so.
we have these crosswise blades that are key. So your lengthwise grain, again, is going to run parallel to these lengthwise blades as it goes through the cutter.
Right. And so here's a sample of just 2 colors. And you just keep cutting your pieces. Again, you're going to start and move your way around it. I like to do it in clockwise because then I can
And
keep
you
track.
can keep track.
Yep.
So here's a couple of our pro tips for using the Go Log Cabin. Now the first thing is to keep track and mark your pieces. And Pam and I use another high-tech method here. We use Ziploc storage bags.
Yeah, and they're marked 1 through 12.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you don't have to use all of the logs
right.
to make your block.
That's right. So if you want to make a smaller block, you'll just use fewer logs.
I'm making a 9-inch blocks to go with Schoolhouse right now, and so
Yes,
you
I
just
love that
yeah,
pattern,
you just
too.
cut this. And then, do you want to talk about my favorite block?
Yes, so then there's one other tip for this. When you're making a 12.5-inch
yes.
block, you actually do not need
The last
12th
color.
log. So keep that in mind. This last piece is actually one of those is not used. So
You need,
just keep
yeah,
that
one
in
of
your
them is,
noggin.
yeah, one of them isn't used.
One
You
of
just
them is
need
not
one.
used, yeah.
And then my favorite variation is this.
Of course.
Is Courthouse Steps.
That's right. It's a variation. It's Pam's favorite because she says this is an H in the middle.
Heller. So you need 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9.
Yes.
So you don't need all of them. Now here is my pro tip. When quilters ask me, how do I stash bust? This is how I do it.
Yes.
At the end of every project, I take out my log cabin die, I cut strips, I put them in Ziploc bags, because eventually you will have enough for a quilt.
That's right.
It's fabulous. Okay, I do love the log cabin die.
There we go. So one of our newer geometric bob die that's been a big
Ooh,
hit.
yes.
Oh, yes. Can you grab this one?
Yes,
Why don't
I'm
you take
I'm
over?
all the good things.
It is the Go Tree of Life.
Now, this is a classic pattern. So look at this block, okay? Now, when you look at this, you need to follow the pattern to piece it together.
Yes.
Because what you end up doing is creating this section, and this section, and this section, and then you
Right.
sew
It
them
goes together a little differently than you think.
Yeah. But let's talk about all the pieces.
All the pieces. So you save so much extra time with this die because the dog
at all
ears
these
are
half-square triangles.
removed from all these half-square triangles. There's so many half-square triangle units. They go together perfectly, and you don't have to go back and trim those little bunny ears off.
Right. Well, and here's something to also consider. When I get a new die like this, I mark on the back, because you know what? You can write on the back of your dies.
There truly is no die police.
I write what size finished half square triangles these are.
Oh,
'Cause
great.
sometimes I'm thinking, oh, maybe I need an odd size half square triangle that's not in a cube. Then I can just look on the back of my bobs and go, oh, now this is a quarter square triangle.
That's right.
But look,
And
they're rectangles.
the same with the rectangles as well, because
Yeah.
these are some different size rectangles.
Yeah.
And I actually use this one to make a piano key border
There you go.
or something. So
There you go.
there's all different ways to use these dies besides making the standard block, although I do love the standard block. Now, I sewed several Tree of Life blocks, and so here are a few pro tips for you. And my number one is to check the placement of the rotation of your half square triangle,
Yes.
because it is very, 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 very easy to turn one of them around the other direction. And you want to catch that before you sew it into your block.
Ask her how she knows.
Ask me how I know.
Yep. You want to press your seams open because that's going to help you reduce that
Absolutely.
bulk. Look at how good
Absolutely.
that is.
And be sure to watch our launch video. There's some great tips from our experts. You can find all of our newer die launch videos on YouTube, on our website, on Facebook. They have great ideas. You can also go to the product page for this die, download the block assembly directions in the coloring page, scroll down even further, and you can watch Pam and I make one of these with you.
It's video magic.
It is.
It's terrific. All right, I like this one a lot.
Yes.
Okay, what's next, Miss Erica?
Next, we're going to talk about one of my favorites.
Yes.
It's the Go Chimney Sweep. Now, this actually makes a 10-inch finished
Oh,
block.
look at how fun that block
It's on a
is.
6x12 die board, so it's going to fit in any of the cutters. I just love how it really focuses on the fabric. It's a simple classic design,
Yep.
and you really can focus on a certain fabric line
Yes.
or a certain color scheme. So
And this one is super fun because it looks like it's on point, but it looks
But it's
different
not,
when you put
yes.
it on point. And was it not just a couple of weeks ago we had the amazing Gina Jempasa?
yes,
And
yes,
she
on our
has
show.
a woven
woven
version
thing.
of it.
She
Have we
did.
talked about that yet? Has that show released?
Yes, I believe so.
Because sometimes we watch people and we don't
did.
know.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did. We
Okay.
did. So this is a simple block. It looks complicated. It's
Yep.
easy to use. And you can make this 3-color block or a 2-color block in
Yeah.
one pass through the cutter. This one is a 3-color version. It's great for scraps. There's just so many ways to use it.
And I did this a couple of back in July.
I really love it.
Or it must
Oh,
have been June.
Hence the 4th of July
Hence
fabric.
the fireworks.
Hence the
Imagine that.
fireworks.
All right. Now, here's a couple of pro tips for working with this die. You want to follow the pattern. This
Yes.
pattern has diagonal rows, okay?
Yes.
Which means what kind of triangles are these?
These are
Erica?
actually quarter square
Yes.
triangles. Look where your lengthwise grain is going to be. It's going to fall on the outside so that you don't have a wonky block.
Yeah, and you want to press your seams open.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
So
Now,
many
we
funs.
recently also had a fantastic blog written by go-getter Amanda Harward from Larkspur Quilts, who we love.
Oh, Amanda, she's so clever.
I know. And it's all about different ways to use the die, so be sure to check it out.
All right, now let's look at some samples made with these dies.
Oh, we're going to start with Pam's favorite.
Okay, one day I'm going to stand before all of you and say, yes, I made this.
So this is why she cuts out all of her scraps.
Yes.
With the log cabin dies, because
Well,
she's
this
gonna
is
make
pineapple.
Pineapple.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It's okay though. The same concept applies. You could totally do it with pineapple.
And I love because it the black just kind of grounds it.
That's why I never think about this, because you never think, oh, the centers of my pineapple block should be black.
Right, but it just really gives your
Gosh.
eye a place to rest, and it
Yeah.
all just goes together.
Didn't Bia make this? Who made this?
This is by, I think, Bia.
Yeah, Bia Lee from Bia Quilter. Okay, so one day, and I'm going to show you the back because the quilting is fabulous.
Really pretty. This is the sleeve up there. There's really
Yeah.
quilting under there.
Yeah, look at how pretty and precise that is. So one day, quilters, I'm going to say, oh, here.
Oh, here it is. Now, here is the
This is
purple
fun.
pineapple quilt.
Purple
Actually, it's a wall hanging, and I love it. It's all purple batiks.
But
And
it's
this-
also scrappy.
It is also scrappy, and it's even more scrappy because we've got scrappy low volume from batiks on the outside, and then the scrappy purple and pinks.
Look at how pretty this is.
Isn't it?
And the backing is just simple and it's solid, but pretty quilting on it.
So notice how she's done very swirling
Marjorie
quilting.
Busby made this.
Marjorie did really swirling, rounded quilting on it to kind of contrast with the geometric angles on
Right.
the front.
All right.
Oh,
How are we
this.
doing, Madison? Madison's doing a great job over here.
Oh yes, and this is a big one, and
Okay, I'm going to stand back so you can talk
This is
about
one
it.
of my absolute new favorites. This is the Go Parallel Logs Throw Quilt by Anita Amador. Anita, we're in love with this.
Anita, you did a great job. So
So-
she used the 4-inch cube and 6-inch blocks from the log cabin.
That's right, she made
Who knew?
6-inch blocks
Anita
with her
did.
4-inch cube, and then she just left out the logs. And okay, I love blue and white quilts. I absolutely love blue and white quilts, but this is all, what kind of blue and white fabric?
Oh, Andover. Is
Yes.
it? Yeah.
No, this is grunge.
Oh, grunge. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, it is grunge. I haven't seen it up close. I can only see it on the camera. Grunge.
Anita,
it's
we
not
really love it.
just mode. It's not
Let's
just
take a
for
look
grunge.
at the back, because it's just a really pretty, I don't know, is that a dandelion or Queen Anne's lace?
I think it's Queen Anne's lace. And a huge shout out to Greg, who's helping in our dream studio today.
Oh, yes.
He's our camera guy.
He came back.
He did. He likes us.
Okay, now this is a big one, so I'm gonna,
Oh, yes. Erica's going to step back and we're going to talk about
we're gonna
this.
talk about this.
Because this is from Marianne Fontana. It's called From Black to White. And look at the gradation of this log cabin.
I need to hold it up higher.
Yeah, a little bit higher, Erica. And so here's the log cabin blocks in the center that are the whites and gray, and then the black and the white on either side. This is such a modern take, right? We don't usually talk about
No.
log cabins like this, but it's phenomenal.
It really is.
Good job. And it's nice and big.
It is nice and big. I usually don't get to hold the big quilts, because then you don't see me.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of
Marianne Fontana.
Marianne Fontana, here is the amazing Technicolor Tree of Life throw quilt that Marianne did. And this has got all those bright colors. This is Andover fabric.
This is Andover.
This is actually the Dimples line, designed by Gail Kessler.
Do you not have some of that?
I do.
Certainly do.
I do.
So I think that this is kind of cool because the blocks, how they're put together, they meet in the middle of the bottom of the trees. So it's on a point, so you're going to use our setting triangles. And Marianne did such a great job with the color
Yeah,
of
she
it.
used the squares to really offset it. I love it.
Yeah, she did a great job.
really fun.
And then we'll look at the back because the quilting on it is just stunning. Look at that.
Great job.
Good job, Marianne.
Okay, next up we've got a Tree for All Seasons throw quilt. This one's by Bea Lee, a Bea quilter.
And this is on the packaging, yes?
Yes, it is. The fabric is from Connecting Threads. And again, if you go to the website page for this die, you can scroll down and there's a video from Pam and I on how to put this block together and this project together.
Yes.
It's got the block set on point.
And for sure quilters, you want to make a test block.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we talked about that the other day, like what you could do with your orphan test blocks. Make a table runner or
so many
something fun
projects.
things.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, this one, of course, I love because it's the Chimney Sweep.
It is.
This is the Go 4 Square Chimney Sweep Pillow by Terry Vandenbosch of
Hi,
Lizard
Terry.
Creek Quilting. Island Batiks here. Look how fun this is.
This is a cute, fun pillow. If you're not a pillow person, you can make a table topper, you can make a wall hanging, you can make a table runner, but it just has 4 little chimney sweep blocks.
So have you bought a couch lately?
I have not bought a couch lately.
Well, I bought a couch and they come with pillows. And sometimes they're not very attractive pillows.
Yeah?
So make your own pillow covers and then switch them out. Terry's done this one with an envelope, so it's really easy
There
to
you go.
switch them out. You don't have to mess with a zipper or anything.
Yeah,
Super.
I'm loving it.
Okay, here's another favorite. It's another blue and white
here, I'm going to
quilt.
hold this big so you can see
It
the
is
center.
big. So this is the
Center
Go,
looks like a heart.
Go Modern Twist. It's like an X. Go Modern Twist Chimney Sweep Throw Quilt.
Amanda Harwood made this.
Thank you, Amanda. We love it.
And again, those blues and whites are so prominent right now. Erica's making a beautiful blue and white quilt. I'm
I
hoping
am.
she's gifting it to me for my Christmas.
I'm not.
She's not. And look at the fun background. Boy, there was no
I know,
hesitation there,
yeah.
quilters. Look
Here
at
we
how
go.
fun this
Look how
is.
pretty this is.
So pretty. All right. Now, are these all free patterns available at AccuQuilt.com?
They are indeed.
Okay. A great way to see how you can make these patterns or create your own is by checking out our blog.
That is right. Yesterday's blog was by our go-getter, Bea Lee. We saw some of her patterns here from Bea Quilter. She shared how to use EQ8 to create colorful schoolhouse quilts.
Yes. Yes, she's always thinking of amazing ideas, and so do all of our other go-getters. You'll be able to discover new blog posts every week with innovative ways to use the dies you already own, and maybe inspire you to get some others when you subscribe to the AccuQuilt blog.
That's right, we've had some great ones recently. Well, you know, Pam, those pineapple blocks we looked at the very beginning got me thinking.
What's that?
Well, since it's such a fun bob, and since it's one that I never would have made until I had a die for it, I think we should give one away to a lucky registered viewer.
We should. Our giveaways are just one way we'd like to say thank you for being part of our AccuQuilt family.
All right, the lucky winner of a Go Pineapple 10-inch finish die is, drum roll please, Gloria L. from Hookset, New Hampshire. Congratulations.
Gloria. We're excited.
Yes.
You're going to love it. Make it scrappy. Okay, the pineapple die is great to work with, but so are so many others.
Oh, that's right.
Now, since today's show is all about bob dies, we want to know, quilters, which of the 50-plus bob dies is your favorite bob?
That's right. Plus, tell us why.
Yes.
Maybe there's a story there. There's no voting poll today, so let us know your answers in the comment section wherever you stream the show. We'll be taking a look at some of your answers a little later in the show.
Now, I wonder which bob dies our viewers are going to say their favorites. We're going to tell ours at the end.
Oh, yes, we are. Okay, it's hard to keep track of all the bobs, but I am glad that our guest, go-getter Lori Miller, took all of them into consideration and used them all to make her Eq8 block libraries.
Oh, I am so grateful as well. Lori's a quilter, a pattern designer, a national educator. She lives in Oxford, Michigan. She enjoys the design process, and one of her favorite tools is Eq8 quilt design software. It's available on our website as well as her block library. Yes. She teaches EQ8 classes around the country, contributes to EQ8 lessons with Lori on doyoueq.com blog. As an AccuQuilt go-getter, she shares tutorials and patterns of her designs on the AccuQuilt blog. Combining these two products, Lori is the creator of the add-on Eq8 block libraries that work with AccuQuilt dies.
That's right. Lori's original quilt designs have been featured in American Patchwork and Quilting, Fons and Porter Love of Quilting, American Quilter, and many other quilt publications. Now, she enjoys being a member of the Modern Quilt Guild and the Stitching Sisters Quilts of Valor group. See Lori's one-of-a-kind style in her blog, Lori Miller Designs.
And she's here joining us today.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us, Lori.
There she is. Hi, Lori.
How are you today?
Very good. I'm happy to be here.
Good. We are so happy you're here. Okay, so Lori, for our viewers who don't know, what exactly are EQ8 block libraries?
So an EQ8 block library is an add-on file to EQ8 design software, in this case containing bob quilt blocks that you can design with. And they're sized exactly to match your bobs, so when you take your design, you can cut it out easily with your Go Cutter.
Oh, that's fabulous.
I love it. So how do you create the block libraries?
So how they came about was, I originally started with the AccuQuilt cubes. And in that cube brochure, I drew all 216 of those blocks because I wanted to design with them with my EQ8 software.
Right.
Yes.
So it was just a logical continuation to do the same thing with the bobs.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, now what are the benefits of using these block libraries? Because Erica and I have both used it.
Yes.
So I think for me, it's you can quickly and easily design a pattern or your quilt, play with the colors and fabrics, and then see what you are going to get without ever having to cut or sew a block.
Because sometimes things don't work out the way I think they will in my head.
In my quilting head, I think they're different, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So how often do you update those block libraries, Lori?
So for the bobs, I release those annually at the beginning of the following year. So I'm right now working on adding all these great new bobs from this year to be ready in early 2023.
Oh, so like Tree of Life and Million Stars and all of those kind of things.
Yes, they'll all be in there.
Perfect.
Now, are there other tools quilters should use with block libraries?
Yeah, so there's two things that I recommend. And the first one is the Go fabric reference chart that you guys provide.
Yes, because
as
it
well
tells you
as-
how many pieces to cut out red of fabric.
Yes.
Exactly, exactly. And then there's also those block assembly diagrams or even your videos of how to put the block together. When you combine them with the tools from EQ8, it'll help you determine your fabric yardage and your sewing instructions.
Oh, that's great.
Because that's a question people ask all the
Yes.
time, right? Is, so I've created this new block, how do I know what fabric
Right.
requirements are?
Right.
Okay.
Now, when you want to start a new project, where do you start using the EQ8 block libraries that you made?
You personally.
You personally.
Well, I'll pull those blocks down, but I like to start just using solid colors when
Okay.
I'm designing my quilt. And I'll play with that till I get a quilt that I like. And then I'll go back in and add maybe specific fabrics or prints.
Oh, that's a
Okay,
really
so
good
I think
tip.
that's a great idea because,
Yes.
you know, if I look at my stash, for example, purple fabric, which I have very little of, but Erica probably has tons of. If I start with a solid, then I just know that it's purple solid, and then I can
Right.
go through and find what
Right.
pattern works. Now, Lori, on our shows, we like to ask the audience a question.
Yes.
And we want to ask you the same question for today. So out of all the 50 plus bob dies,
Not that we're putting you on the spot.
yeah, no pressure here. Which ones are your favorite and why?
So I have two favorite bobs.
Okay.
And you've already talked about one quite a bit. So I like them both for the very same reasons. So I like the Go Pineapple,
Yay.
Oh,
and I also love the Go Storm at Sea.
Yes.
oh
And
yeah.
the first reason is because they look complicated, but they're really easy to sew together. And the second is that they're so versatile. So just by changing the orientation of the block or changing the coloring around, you can come up with so many different designs just from a single block. So I love it that you don't have to make the same quilt twice.
Oh, that is great.
See, that's amazing. All right, well, thanks again for
Thank you
joining
for
us today, Miss
coming.
Lori, and sharing all of your EQ8 block library knowledge. And we're glad that you were able to take time to educate our quilters. Thanks for joining us, dear. Have a
Thank
good
you
day.
so much.
Thanks for coming,
bye-bye.
Lori.
Okay, she's just brilliant.
Oh, she is.
Okay.
All right, now quilters, we have a video that you can watch now on how to cut and sew a block whenever we release a Go die.
Right.
But you want to be sure to look for Lori's updated EQ library in early 2023. That'll have all of the dies we've released so far this year and then the newer additions to the rest of the year.
Right. Now, Lori also has videos explaining how to use EQ8 block libraries. So let's take a look at her example of combining two of our favorite bobs in EQ8.
When you open Electric Quilt, you arrive at the welcome screen. We're going to open the block library, and under My Favorite Blocks, we'll find where the add-on block libraries are stored. I'm going to go into this Bob block library, and I'm going to add the Log Cabin 12-inch. And in this one, I'm going to choose the Flowering Snowball 12-inch. We're going to design a quilt from scratch. I'm going to make a horizontal quilt, and I'm going to adjust the size of the quilt. And the important thing is to make sure that the size of the finished blocks is the same size as the bob blocks you're designing with. Here's the two blocks we chose. We're going to drop those into the quilt. I'm going to use Electric Quilt tools to make a few adjustments to the design. In this case, I'm going to rotate these blocks around to create this kind of diagonal stripes. We're going to go into the fabric tools, and I'm going to adjust some of the colors to be what I like. I'm going to change the centers of the flowering snowballs to match the centers of the log cabin. And I'm just going to color the outside to mimic binding. And there's our new design. Let me show you a couple other examples. In this example, I've combined the 8-inch winding ways with the 8-inch snail's trail. The center block here is just a plain block. And finally, I've combined a pineapple block, 10-inch pineapple block with a 10-inch chimney sweep block. They really blend well together to create a brand new design. I just added my own coloring. When you use electric quilt and those great bob blocks to design with, the possibilities are endless.
Okay.
All right, I love how you can do pretty much everything
Yes.
for a quilting project using EQ8 block libraries.
Me too. Now, being able to design a project from scratch is amazing. But for quilters who already have a pattern, free pattern picked out from our site, we have an amazing tool called Go Quilt.
That's right. Go Quilt is our free design tool where you can upload pictures of your fabric to see what your project will look like before you even make your first cut. Numerous fabric collections from our sponsors, as well as solid colors, are available on Go Quilt. Plus, we have thousands of patterns for you to choose from to envision your next project.
Yes.
So for designing new patterns, you want to use EQ8 software, which is available for purchase
Right.
on our website,
So are the block libraries.
along with Lori's block libraries. But Go Quilt will help you reimagine existing patterns that for free in the program with all new colors or fabrics.
I just think it's fabulous. And I just used Go Quilt last week where I was
Yes, you
trying to
did.
create a project for one of our upcoming shows and actually changed the fabric out of it because I was able to upload fabric and it didn't look right.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. So making more projects means using more dies. And we
Yes.
want to take a look at some of our bob dies that give the illusion of curves without sewing any curves. And I feel like we should start with Storm at Sea.
That's right. Now this makes a block that is on so many quilters' bucket lists of quilts that they want to make, and this makes it so much easier than traditional quilting.
Okay, so here's cutting,
Ugh.
all of those things. Okay, so this is a sample of our Storm at Sea block.
Right.
Now, quilters, you can make a 9-inch single sashing block.
Right.
Or you can make a 12-inch double sashing. So when we talk about sashing, it's these pieces here on the end. Okay, so you want to look at your pattern. Is it
Right.
single sashing? Is it double sashing?
Because if you have the sashing on all four sides, when you
Yes.
put the blocks next to each other, you'll have this row repeated.
Right, we'll show you
If
a
you
sample.
only have it on two sides,
Yes.
then when you put one over here, then it'll just have one again.
And it is this shape, the diamond and the rectangle, that gives that illusion of motion.
Right, you can even see
without-
it just in the one block.
Yeah, without even sewing any curves. Okay, so let's talk about this. It's laid out by fabric or by color, right? So this is all one color if you're doing two colors, and this is another color.
Right.
Okay. Now, here is our pro tip for this block.
Yes.
The first is that you want to press all your seams open because then it's going to lay nice and flat.
Yes.
Okay. And shape B right here,
Yes.
this is directional.
Yes.
So you want to fan fold your fabric back and forth. These are the shapes that are going to go around shape A to create that diamond and a rectangle. And if you have your fabric facing up, it will only make the left side and you will be cranky.
It's true.
Ask us how I know, okay?
Yes.
And don't forget, you're gonna get those great points because you've pressed your seams open. We
That's
have
right.
some irons and wool pressing mats on our website.
Yes.
You can use that.
Yes. Okay, that is a great tip. Now, like you said, don't forget, shape B is directional. So,
Yeah.
as always, follow the directions.
Yes.
I don't always, I know.
Make a
but
test block.
Yes. Now, another one of our favorite bobs has to be the Go Cross canoes because it is just so versatile. This block also has the illusion of a curve, and although it looks complicated, this is actually a great block even for a beginner. So again, look at that look of a curve that we've got going
Yes.
here. And it continues when we put more blocks together.
Right.
But it's really simple to put together.
And you wanna have your fabric facing up because you have an A and an AR.
Yes.
AR means A right. And it's gonna sew together just like it is on the
Just
die.
like it is on the
And
die board,
Very
yeah.
seldom does it look just like it is
Very
on the die.
seldom, but it does, and we love that.
And why is this cut out here, Erica?
Because you know what?
Seam allowance,
Seam allowance.
right?
Those are actually notches. It's not really, again, It's the appearance of a curve without being a curve.
Yeah.
There you go.
And if you took and put this block on point,
You get a whole different look. Wait till you see it in our trunk show. So this block works really well with other 9-inch blocks. And don't forget that we also have a 9-inch finished square now as well.
yes.
And the setting triangles to work alongside it. So our pro tip for this block, you've heard it before, but it's so important. Press your seams open.
Yeah, and I think it's just because there's so much bulk, right? Otherwise
Yes,
it gets too
otherwise you're going to have a lot of bulk in the center.
Now, it really makes a difference with this block. And another great block that gives the illusion of curves is our Go Snails Trail.
Yes.
Finishing at 8 inches, and our Go Big Snails Trail
Right.
finishing at 12 inches. Okay,
So we actually have 2 versions of
Yes.
this block.
so let's start with the smaller version.
The smaller version here is on the 10 by 10 die board, and this is an 8-inch finished. And again, you're going to see, we're going to put it together. They go together the exact same. Here, we'll turn it so that the blue's facing the same way.
There you go.
It's the other one.
Yep. So there are 2 shape A's and 2 shape B's. So here's A and B. It's kind of like the pineapple block where it's just going to keep going out, right?
So basically, you're going to need 2 layers of each color.
Yes.
And then there's your block. It couldn't be easier, and it's a great chain piecing project.
And both versions, we'll show you the Go Big die in a second. So the 8-inch version, this one works in the Go and the Go Big.
Right.
And the 12-inch works only with the Go Big.
That's
all
right.
So let's look at the different block sizes.
Now, before you ask, yes, you can make these with cubes, but you need more than one size of cube because the size of the pieces increases so much from the center to the outside.
Yeah, so it's just so much easier to get a bob.
It really is.
And it's great for chain piecing like the pineapple block. I did 2 blocks at a time.
Yes.
Just sewed and sewed and sewed. Again, it's clockwise.
Yes. Did you get rid of our mat?
Well, we were going to show them the die.
Oh, yes.
Okay, shall we show them the die?
Let's show them the die. It's like the bigger version.
It is. Oh, look. Ta-da, ta-da.
There we go.
Okay. So again, 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 C's, so on and so forth.
And we've got our 2 layers. Again, like always, we want our lengthwise grain or our tight grain to run parallel to those blades, not squared up on the die board, but parallel to those blades.
Right. And you need a 14 by 16 cutting mat so you can get all the pieces.
There we go.
Are we good? Okay. I love it when the machine does all of the work. Ooh, I gotta move my water. There we go.
And this is another one like the pineapple where we're going to start sewing in the middle and work our way out.
And we have a great pro tip about the Go Big version. It works great with fat quarters,
It
right?
does, and then it leaves you scraps left over to do a scrappy binding, which is exactly what I did when I made this for a friend who loves scuba diving because I thought it looked like water.
This is what happens when you don't slide and lift.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, but it's okay. We can find those shape E's. We know where they belong.
We do.
Boy, it is staticky in here.
It is.
But not 106, which is what it was.
Not 106 like it was the other day. So we're going to start in the center and lay out our block.
Did you get our shape A's? Okay.
I did. I've got them. I'm
Okay.
laying them out. So we start with a 4 patch in the middle.
Imagine that. Here, we'll move this.
There we go.
Okay? Yep, so we're going to do it just like that. That seam allowance is going to let them sew together perfectly, right? And then we're going to need shape B. So now, this is my pro tip.
Yes.
You want to match the far left corner to the next color,
Yep.
right?
Right.
'Cause then this is going to be blue. Yeah, see
Yeah.
how the corners match? And you would continue to build around.
And you just keep building, and that's how you get that look of the swirl.
Yeah, so if you're right here and it's that top right, that is wrong, right? Or it's top left, sorry. Yeah, that's how I remember to make them.
Okay.
All right.
As we say, whatever works. All right. Now we've got some great samples to show you.
Oh, I'm going to start in the back.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Now the one hanging behind us is the Go Tornado Storm at Sea Throw Quilt.
So this has double sashing. See how the sashing makes it look like this? Oh, this block is completely different. Never mind.
Yeah.
So here is the diamond in the rectangle
Yes.
gives that illusion of motion.
Right.
Even though you sew straight seams. Here is square in a square in a square, one of my favorite blocks of all time. And I love this. So now this is one version, and I'm gonna hold the other version up.
Okay,
next to
so
it.
here's the other version. So this is a different colorway. Again, we've got the same design. Look how different it looks when we take the blue and print and we use the hot pink instead of the gray with the solid.
Are you a fan of a particular colorway of it,
I
Erica?
like them both.
Yeah,
I kind of like the gray though.
I'm a
Plus,
fan
I
of the
have
gray.
a lot
and
of the
hot pink.
gray. I have a lot of gray in my house, so.
Okay.
All right, next is the Go Rainbow Canoeing on the Canal. This is Island Batik Fabrics. We're going to hold
I'm
it
gonna
this
hold
way.
it sideways.
You can see more of the pretty colors.
This is by Terry Vandenbosch.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Be a Quilter. Sorry,
Oh,
Bia.
sorry, Bia. This is Island Batik Fabrics on this. Really fun. You can see this is all done as a two-tone.
Yes. And I just do love the batiks on it. It's
Mm-hmm.
fabulous. And then look at this back, because you and I both have this fabric.
Yeah, we do. This is a great one.
Yeah.
So contrast that then to the look of this one, which is Cross Canoes Throw Quilt that uses Timeless Treasures watermelon fat quarters.
Okay, I need to buy watermelon fat quarters.
Look
just
at
for
the
name.
different, right. So look how different it looks. Now what the changing up your color from the points to the, to your solid light back here,
Mm-hmm.
flipping them between the blocks, you get so many different secondary and third designs. I love it.
I think it's beautiful.
It really is.
Okay.
Great swirling quilting. This one's by Terry Vandenbosch.
Yeah, we knew it was
This
coming.
one is Go Sunset Trails Wall Hanging.
And again, it has that gradient look, so you can see where it starts, and it's just very light and faint
Mm-hmm.
and works to the other side.
She's used island batiks, many of which look very familiar to me. I think
Yes.
I have some at home as well.
Yes. And I'm going to show you the back because I think it's beautiful, the quilting and just that beautiful batik.
I like how the yellow really frames out the quilt.
It does.
This one was made by our own Miss Pam.
Ta-da, ta-da.
This is-
Very seldom do I make a name patterns. This is the Raspberry Swirl Wall Hanging. Reminded me of raspberry lemonade in the summertime.
Yes.
And look at how fun. Okay, now Quilters, this is a wall hanging. Truly, I made it at the top in an afternoon.
And this is the 8-inch. This is the
Yes.
smaller one.
And I just quilted it on my domestic machine, and I just basically just went around those squares.
Yeah.
Super easy. And are you proud of me? I put
You put
a little
corners
corners
to
on it.
hang.
so you can hang.
Now this is the version, I didn't make this one, I gifted mine, but this is the where I patterned mine after.
You did not gift it to me, however.
I did not.
To a
did not.
screwdriver.
So these are the big ones. So this is
Go
the
big.
12-inch with the Go Big version.
Yes. And then look at the background because it has
It's like water
bubbles.
and bubbles. I love it.
Do think it's fabulous. All right, and all of these are free patterns, right?
That's right. You can make even more when you take advantage of our free patterns and special offers today.
That's right. Now use the code AUGFS, which stands for August Free Shipping. You'll get free shipping and on any order if you live in the contiguous U.S. This deal is just what you need to save on our Go Block on Board Favorites 8-inch die bundle.
That's right. This bundle comes with 4 bobs that all finish at 8 inches so that you can easily mix and match these great blocks. And don't forget, it includes this month's Die to Try die, the Go Million Stars, which we are almost sold out of.
Almost. So probably even during the show. All right. And it includes 2 cutting mats.
Yes.
'Cause what happens without a mat?
Nothing.
There you go.
But if you want to see Pam and I sewing new blocks and all the other antics we get up to, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to see our behind-the-scenes videos.
They're hilarious. We have tons of fun, and we love to share our AccuQuilt community quilts and stories on our social media pages as well. So be sure to follow us. And a huge shout out to Rock. It's his 1-year work anniversary
That's
today.
right. That's
He's
right.
often
Happy
in behind the
anniversary.
scenes.
So it's time to get curvy.
There you go.
Sewing curves is nothing to be afraid of when you're using your Go dies. The dies are going to cut out notches to make matching up your pieces super
Notches.
easy. So let's start off with looking at a very gentle curve in one of our favorites, the Go Cleopatra's fan.
Okay, it makes a 12-inch finished block, which is amazing.
Yes.
And I want to say that this block is such a showstopper in
It is.
any fabric combination. And it is truly easier to sew than you think.
That's
and
true.
you showed this just like last month or so.
I did.
Right? Okay.
I
So
filled in for you on a Wednesday.
yeah, I was gone. But so it makes mirrored images,
Yes.
right? So all of the shapes on the die board are these shapes. When you lay out your fabric, fan fold back and
Yes,
forth.
fan fold. That gives you your mirror images. Look at all these lovely notches. Those aren't hard curves. Those are nice, gentle curves. They're going to sew
are.
really easily.
And what's really cool is that they're going to meet right here in the middle, and then you're going to sew your sections together. It's also divided by color. So
Yes.
this is one color, this is one color, and this is one color.
Now, if you haven't worked with curves much, don't panic. This block is a great way to get started, which brings us to pro tips. Now, the first thing is those notches, use pins to pin them.
Yes.
You know I love my pins, especially those cute flower ones that we have on our website. But seriously, you want to make the most of those notches for perfect blocks.
And the next pro tip is to sew those curved seams with the smile on the top, so you get that concave look on the top, right? And then the sewing machine is just going to let you do all the hard work.
That's right.
Okay.
All right, next up is a curved die that we love called the Go Flowering Snowball. Now this also makes a 12-inch finished box, and it is as spectacular as it is versatile. Here's the block.
And just a reminder, when you're putting this together, in your quilting head, how you think you're going to sew this block together is way different than how it really goes.
Read the directions.
Because you're going to create this section here, you're going to sew these together, sew this, and then add the other
Yes.
side.
Yes.
Okay, and you already have our fabric prepped.
I
But
do.
let's talk about it real quick.
I do. So again, you see we've got notches. Now there is a blade between these pieces to divide it.
Yep,
So we've got
and shape
our
B.
petal shape B, and then you only need the one center, the one shape C for each block. So I only have one layer of fabric on that one.
Perfect. All right, let's lay our fabric down. And all of these dies, except for the Go Big Snail Trail, will fit through our Go Cutters.
There you go.
So think about that.
Yeah.
And I love this block because of all the different color combinations you could make
Yes.
for it.
Wait till you see the two versions of the trunk show. It'll really kind of bring that home.
Yeah.
But even our sample block here is going to kind of point that out for you.
Okay.
Because I went a different way than you did.
Yeah, you did. It was great. Okay. So we're going to slide, don't lift. Oh, here, I'll let you pull the A's off and I'll
Okay.
do the B.
Okay.
And the C, whew, I'm not sure.
I know.
All right.
right.
There you go.
There we
All
go.
right, do you want to lay one out? I'll move it over here.
Sure, sure. So these are a little bit bigger to lay out. So these are going to be our corner, the corner kind of pieces.
There you go.
And then these are kind of the flower petals, if you will, that go between.
Yes.
And you can see that you can already tell how different this is going to look.
And those notches are there. They're going to line up perfectly. Look at how fun that block is.
And again, remember, there is this thing called seam allowances.
Yep. And this actually went together super fast. And
It
your
does, it
quilting head,
does.
You're like, oh, I wonder what that is, but
So
it's great.
look how different you can tell. Look how different it is when you do the more of a tone on tone, more of more similar tones to the contrast here. And if we were to switch these, well, I'm giving away the trunk show.
Yeah.
Wait till the trunk show,
All right.
till you see.
All right.
Now, for our pro tip, when it comes to pressing curves, fabric is naturally going to want to press to one side. Don't fight with it, right, Pam?
Don't fight it. Just let it naturally go to the side.
That's right. Don't fight to try and press
Don't
it
try to
open.
press your seams open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great tip. And it works with any curved pieces. Now our next die is one that you've been spending quite a bit of time with.
have.
It's the Go Winding Ways 8-inch finished block.
It is. And Winding Ways is a great die. I was really inspired. Jen Belknap was on our show about a month ago from the Smitten Chicken, and she has a travel quilt that
Yes.
she made for her family, and it's patriotic, right? It has,
Right.
you know,
They take pictures of it every place
all-
that they go
all the
with,
place.
with landmark places.
So I was really inspired by that, and we take Oakley and we're doing some road trips. So here, I'm going to show you the quilt first. So this is the quilt I made using this die.
Oakley got to pick out the colors.
She picked out the colors. She found the little, can you see in the center it's purple?
Purple.
Yeah,
That's my girl.
super fun. All right, so let's talk about this die and let's talk about this fabric because I learned many things. This was fabric Erica said, Pam, you should totally get this fabric. So I did, and it has places like Mexico City and Sydney and Paris.
Is
And
that not perfect for a travel quilt?
perfect for a travel quilt.
But it's directional.
It is directional. So what I ended up was I couldn't fan fold back and forth. So I had this shape were all facing up. And then when it was the negative space, I had to turn the fabric down. So, and then I was able to sew my blocks together. But look at how fun these pieces came together perfectly.
They're so
And then
cool.
look at that big curve of the circle.
And you get so many different circles because
Yes.
here's the beginning of another
Yes.
one, and here's another one. They all overlap.
And my goal in 2022 is to do stripe binding, and that is, I'm calling it stripe. And
There
a
you
huge
go.
shout out to Christina Morrow, who quilted it for me.
That's right. Now the first pro tip that we have for you is to pin those notches because it really does make all the difference,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, and my second pro tip is to be sure to pin when your blocks come together so they line up perfectly if you like using directional fabric like I did.
That's right. So let's take a look at how these blocks all look when they go together to be some finished samples. Whoops, sorry.
There we go. No, Madison's double teaming
I
over
got
here.
it, I got it.
She's good, she's good.
Okay, this is the Glow Cleopatra's Fan Table Runner.
Yep, just 3 blocks.
See how spectacular. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter the fabric, it doesn't matter what you're doing with it, it's just a showstopper.
And you could totally make it scrappy. I love it.
So those were 3 blocks. Now what happens with 4 blocks?
It gives it a completely different look. The colorway makes it look different. It's kind of broken up differently than the Cleopatra's Fan, but this is called Cleopatra's Garden Gate.
Love that. So the next one up, we were talking about the different looks that we can get with the Flowering Snowball. Here is the Go Rings of Tangerine quilt. This one's got Robert Kaufman fabric. Again, it's a big 12-inch finish block. It makes a big, bold statement. This is more similar to what I did
Yes.
with the sample one we cut with the white on the background.
Right.
But take a look at the difference.
So I'm going to hold one, and Erica's going to
I'm
hold one.
going to hold one. And
I know
it's a
we're gonna
big one.
let Greg figure out how to do this.
Yeah,
Or,
Greg's gonna not like me for this. Okay,
Here we
so
go.
here is the Midnight Blue quilt. So look how different it is when you switch where that white fabric is.
yeah, and it's just like that Mill and Stars block. You use that
exactly.
negative space to create a completely different look. I do love this.
All right, now we've seen Pam's wonderful winding ways. We've got
Yes.
one other one. And I like this one because, again, I guess it's because of the gray.
And the Pantone Colors of the Year a couple of years ago.
Yes. So here again, you can see we've got this big circle, but you can see all the other circles that start to come out. Big circles, little circles, they all overlap.
Just fabulous.
So all of the patterns that you've seen today are available as free downloads on AccuQuilt's website. So be sure to get your patterns downloaded before your bob dies arrive so that you'll be ready to go. Oh, we have to give away this lovely fabric.
No, our good friends at Riley Blake are helping this make an amazing trunk show with a stack of fabric that is big enough to make a quilt top.
And it is all sewing themed.
Look at this. So there's rulers and spools of thread and scissors. It's
So many
fabulous.
fun things.
So we're going to give it away despite our better judgment. We were going to keep it. First winner of Riley Blake fabric selection is, drum roll please, Clara O from Wichita, Kansas.
Congratulations. I hate that you can let go of this.
I know.
The winner of a second bundle of fabric is, drum roll please, Kenna W. from North Logan, Utah.
It
Congratulations.
has buttons and spools. All right, we'll put it out. Huge shout out to our friends at Riley Blake for making our show great and sponsoring today's show. We're going to love using their fabric.
Absolutely. All right. So, Quilters, early in the show, I have a special announcement.
Okay.
We only have 32 Star dies left.
Right
That is
now,
it.
put it in your cart.
So
It's
put
gonna
it in
sell.
right now. It is going to sell out by the end of the day,
Yes,
or by the end of the afternoon,
yes.
or by lunch. So only 32 left. Okay, now that we've done that, we can go back to talking about bobs and which of the 50 plus bobs is your favorite die and why.
So let's see what you said.
All right. Oh, Janice R. loves Cleopatra's fan, and
Yes.
why wouldn't you, right?
Debbie said, I love all my bobs, but I think my favorite is the glorified 9-patch Erica just blew. It makes the pattern so much easier, and the carpenter's wheel, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
that
one,
makes
too.
It's a game changer.
All right, lots of people said the log cabin and the hunter star were their favorites.
We are not surprised.
We are not surprised. I kind of predicted that would happen.
And do you have a favorite? Because log cabin's
Well,
mine for scraps.
The glorified 9-patch, and I'm very emotionally attached to that because I begged and pleaded for that one to be.
And at the end of August, Erica's going to do a show on it.
That's
It'll be
right. Gave me an excuse to make more blocks. Quilters, at the start of the year, we introduced our Paying It Forward campaign called Covering the World One Quilt at a Time. This campaign is a collaboration between AccuQuilt and Moda Fabrics with Baby Lock as our sponsor.
Together, one person from each of our teams is donating a quilt each week of 2022 to a charity of their choice.
Be sure to visit our website for details on how you can participate in Covering the World One Quilt at a Time by going to learn.accuquilt.com/quilttheworld2022.
You can also follow #QuiltTheWorld2022 on social media to see fellow quilters' donations throughout the year.
And the quilts that have been donated for the Quilt the World campaign have been so amazing so far, Pam.
Oh, they're amazing. And they've been inspiring me to make new projects.
Absolutely. Quilters, if you're like us, you're looking for more inspiration, be sure to come back tomorrow and every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time to join Miss Pam for AccuQuilt Live.
Tomorrow we're going to make a back-to-school pattern using the Go Cube Mix and Match 8-inch block. Be sure to register for the show on our events page for the chance to win an exciting door prize. We have tons of fun. Hope to see you there just in time for school to start.
That's right, and it's super cute. But first, we have some more fun with today's show. It's time to give away our final prize. Let's say thank you to our quilters one more time for registering and watching our show.
And we appreciate it. All right, the second lucky winner of a Go Pineapple 10-inch finished die is, drum roll please, Jean W. of Lodi, New Jersey. Congratulations. You're going to love it. Quilters, be sure to join Erica and I again next Tuesday, August 16th at 12 noon Central Time for a relaunch party called Cut Like a Butterfly, Quilt Like a Bee. We'll be sharing all the tips and tricks for the Go Butterfly 9-inch piece finished die, since it's now joining our permanent die collection.
And that's not all. We'll also be offering new ways to pair the butterfly box with other bobs and cubes. You're not going to want to miss out on all the fun that we plan to have.
It's going to be great. Also, you don't want to miss out on today's deals. All orders receive free shipping if you live in the contiguous U.S. Use that code AUGFS.
So grab that Go Block on Board Favorites 8-inch die bundle. You're going to get that free shipping, and you'll be working with 4 popular bob dies with 2 cutting mats in this bundle. Just what you need to inspire your next project. And remember, it's going to get you that Go Mill & Stars, but with only 32 left.
Get it now.
Go fast.
Remember, you can quilt now, pay later. Get financing today at AccuQuilt.com/financing. All right, it's time for Erica and I to go sew. We hope you've enjoyed today's bob-filled trunk show and feel inspired to combine more bobs to create new projects.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been waiting for the show to end, now's the time. Here's the link for you to do your shopping. Get everything you need while it's still available. I'm sure it's under 30 million stars right now.
And it's going to ship free if you live in the contiguous U.S. Hey, don't forget to stay tuned after our show.
Oh, that's right.
We have this huge montage of quilts that were made using bob dies.
That's right. This extra fun was put together by our events director and producer, Joe, so don't stop watching quite yet.
And remember, at AccuQuilt, Eric and I, we're here all the time to help you cut time.
So you can quilt more.
Stay tuned.